do you think being a female founder, you feel that there are some benefits? I don't know, maybe like from being able to multitask or whatever.
Next question is related to the pandemic. So when the pandemic of COVID-19 breakout happened, what was the first thing or two that came up to your mind, considering both of your startups have strong offline presence? So let's start with Vanessa.
Okay. First thing that came to my mind was how to make sure that everybody is safe. That's I think what was going on in my head as soon as the first Jokowi announced the first case, right? Because if we are in the business of, like you said, offline. Gita is too. And we did share, like Gita and I had several calls to discuss what is the strategy, what are we gonna do, like where's the business gonna go, and then once we make sure that we have the right tools and right platform to make sure that our employees feel safe, our members feel safe, then we started thinking about how do we make sure that we can survive this, right? So the first part, we did a lot of communication. We over-communicated to our members and our employees. Kita langsung bikin communication tools. Kita kasih landing page di website kita with all the FAQs. We talked to our members. I called some of the founders directly to make sure that, hey, you know, what can we do? How can we make sure that you guys are okay, right? Terus yang berikutnya sih, yaitu how do we make sure and to communicate with my team to not be a victim, to make sure that people don't feel victimized by this. What do I mean by that? This is something that is totally outside of our control. Like it's not the industry problem. It is not a country problem. It is not the company problem. Kalau problemnya company, kita kira-kira bisa tahu kan, oh oke, problemnya ini, kita akan melakukan ini, kira-kira kita punya, dengan plan ini kita akan recover kapan. Tapi ini kan sama sekali enggak. Ini sama sekali yang unprecedented crisis where every day we have to deal with a new normal. We have to know what the next normal is before that new normal happens, right? Jadi ya kita langsung mikir gitu, strateginya apa ya supaya kita make sure kita survive gitu, nggak harus PHK, terus gimana kita caranya cut cost, kalau kita nggak bisa buka bisnis apa yang kita bisa lakukan dengan aset-aset yang ada supaya kita masih bisa bertahan dan relevan dan masih diingat, masih bisa komunikasi sama member-member kita gitu. We have like almost 20,000 of them, right? So that's what we did. We had a lot of digital activation starting from March yang sebelumnya kita nggak pernah lakukan karena kita juga nggak kepikiran ke sana gitu kan. So we are forced to be creative. My marketing team did planned so many campaigns yang semuanya harus go out the window because things just keep changing, right? By fortnightly, gitu. Yeah, so that's basically what happened in the first a few weeks of the crisis for me, and we continue to communicate much more intensely now.
So how are things now? Do you have like new services or new ways of giving your service?
Okay. Sekarang semua lokasi kita udah buka lagi. Jadi mulai Juni 15, all of the locations have opened, including the mall locations. I think the country has to sustain the economy, and we have to deal with this in a new way, right? In terms of other services, yes, we do have other services, karena kita juga melihat bahwa sekarang banyak sekali demand dari corporate dan traditional companies yang sebelumnya nggak pernah mikir gitu untuk put their team into a co-working space, right? Karena buat apa? Mereka punya kantor sendiri kok, semuanya harus datang ke satu atau dua lokasinya mereka. But now everybody needs extra space, right? They need extra space and they need less space. So it has to be a combination of both. And we have been doing this. This is what GoWork has been doing since the inception, right? We help people be productive remotely. We give companies flexibility. So instead of focusing on just very concentrated market, now our market is much bigger, and we can reach out to more businesses than before. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So you are basically what your service is it's a solution for some companies.
Yes. Yeah. So it's a solution of their space, but we also help them with managing a lot of their digital activations. Sekarang juga lalu kita juga ada tim yang bisa bantu our members creative initiatives, because our marketing team has been doing that for GoWork, and a lot of companies reach out to us. Oh, can you help us do a video? Can you help us do this, do that? Jadi kita provide itu juga gitu untuk banyak sekali member-member kita. We now have been doing a lot of events like this, right? That like sharing digital activations, webinar, IG stories, and our partners keep growing. At one point, we have a couple of talks yang sampai hampir 1,000 orang yang tune in.
Wow.
So we are exploring a more digital presence with our members and our partners.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Vanessa. And Gita, what's your take on the first thing or two that came up to your mind?
Okay, I'm going to take back one thing that I said, which is there's no real benefit about being a female founder. There's one.
Okay.
So being a female founder, as you know, lots of data, so much data, whether you want to believe it or not, shows that there's discrimination, meaning you raise less money. Now, if you historically have raised less money, you will also learn how to make that dollar stretch. So, two things came to my mind. One is, all right, let's make sure everyone's safe. Let's close all locations. Forget it. We were probably one of the first to close. We closed all 5 locations, and we're probably going to close it for a very long time because who cares? And then second is the reason we went for venture capital funding, and we were the first boutique fitness company in the entire Southeast Asia region to raise venture capital funding. But we went down that route because we're like, how do you create a wellness product, a lifestyle product that'll inspire people to feel included and get healthy in an extremely large scale? And hate to say it, offline was never our focus because you're always limited by your 4 walls. And the big difference is fitness is something you do. It's not I think our product offering is quite different, right? Like with fitness, you can technically do it anywhere. So actually, after we went, all right, we need to make sure everyone's safe, work from home, starting from now until end of December. And then second of all is how do you nggak PHK orang sama sekali. Alright, so we didn't just go into survive mode, we were like, let's go on thrive mode. Dan kita ada hashtag namanya kreatif karena miskin. Everyone who knows us knows actually how lean we are because fundraising is very hard for us. Probably also because we're shitty fundraisers, which is okay lah. And so what we're able to do is, if you've always had a pretty good life where systems and people like always support you, you never run out of money. This is when we saw companies going from, I have 12 months runway, several $1 million, to like, I have 30-day runway. Whereas we were pretty chilling because we had 24 months runway with not a lot of money because we are so used to thinking cash, because we know cash doesn't come easy. So on that note, we went, okay, knowing that fitness can be done anywhere, one, let's not fire anyone and think about how we can pivot into digital, which we did. We pivoted into a digital company 100% in just 2 weeks. We ended up gaining traction all over outside of Jabotabek. Kita ada di Lampung, kita ada pokoknya di mana-mana, Surabaya, Bandung, Depok, Bekasi, several places di Kalimantan, dan juga malah sampai ke Manila, Taiwan, Thailand, dan Singapura. And we constantly go, you know, rather than be sad, let's just show people what we're made of. And let's just go back to basics. A company fundamentally harus cuan, period. Company in the end has to make money, and that money has to be more than your cost, period, forever, the end, that's it. Otherwise, you are a waste of space, and it's only a matter of time until you crumble, like, you know, we work as we learn. So on that note, I will say that's the benefit. The fact that we've never had that much to begin with. You end up having a CAC of only what? 10 cents. Traction that we do, operationally profitable in terms of digital in just 3 weeks. And you get that out of just being super creative all the time. Kreatif karena miskin. Don't ever look at funding as a success. People now celebrate funding rather than profit or earnings, which is insane. So get back to basics. Crisis is not new. This pandemic is not special. Looking at your family, they've went through way more shit than you, so don't complain. The fact that you have electricity, Wi-Fi, and a job is amazing. Your grandparents went through wars and shit. Nothing that we're experiencing right now is honestly that special. So it's up to you to go back to fundamentals and decide how you're gonna thrive. And I would say the number one thing that you might have to think about really hard is, how do you not let go of people? We started the pandemic with 55 people. We are now at 80 people. Because basically what we found out with digital, which could have gone wrong too, is that turns out the scale can be much bigger than 4 walls, as per our hypothesis in the beginning. Could we have failed? Yeah, of course, all the time. But is that why it's important to have a very lean, disciplined kind of mentality? Yeah. So always use your weakness actually as your strength. Because sometimes a system that works for a group of people or a group of privileged people can also boomerang against them very, very quickly. So, find kesempatan dalam kesempitan selalu.
Yeah, I like that. And so, is our fitness open right now or not?
Oh enggak, jangan. Bro, kita hashtag di rumah aja.
Okay.
Hashtag di rumah banget.
Okay.
We're actually, look, unlike offices, I will say now, gyms in general, yeah, probably riskier than like restaurants and things like that. Why? Because people are breathing heavy in an enclosed space. So if you want to really work out, you're dying for it, go outside. Okay? If you're willing to take the risk, then do whatever you want to do. I don't care, it's your life, right? But just understand from a company perspective, we're gonna put safety as number one, like like will always be number one. Like we'll take almost everything else to be just nowhere near as important. Because life is not something you can replace. But yeah, I think it says everything. The fact that we now have trainers di Bali, di Lampung, we have trainers in all sorts of places. In fact, one of our video editors don't even live in Jakarta. But that's great. Like I said, dari 55 orang terus jadi 80, and you make money, ya harus cuan. Then I think we never forget the cuan part as an entrepreneur.
I want to add something because like I talk to Gita quite a lot, and when you plan this online, we talk about it, right? And then after you launch, we had a discussion as well, and I was surprised, because like not that surprised. I mean, like surprised that it happened so quickly, that you managed to get people from Singapore, right? Because I'm guessing they have to pay more for the same services, the online services that they that they have in Singapore, and you have these trainers in Indonesia who can train them. Maybe not as good as maybe the English language is not as good as the Singaporean, but it's same techniques, right? Same physical techniques, same everything, and they can get cheaper. They can pay cheaper for the same, almost the same services. And I really found that interesting, and the way you pivot during this COVID is one of the best stories that I heard so far.
Thank you, bro. Thank you so much.
Okay, so next question is from Marcel. To try to promote workplace equality, should gender quotas be commonplace?